Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today, so do me a favor before we dive into these topics. If you end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, be sure to leave it a like, and if you are new here to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. I want to start off here by just letting you guys know something that I thought was pretty interesting. It's not big news, certainly not, but apparently both Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, who played Joel and Ellie in The Last of Us, got back together to record some new voice lines for, unfortunately, not a game, but an actual Last of Us attraction that's going to be part of Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. I think this is actually kicking off next month. Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson came in for a recording session for the event and re-recorded the dialogue for the Haunted House attraction, which will begin in September at Universal Studios in Orlando and Hollywood. It's based on the Pittsburgh section of the first game where Joel and Ellie are ambushed by savage hunters. So yeah, again, it's something pretty small here, but it's pretty interesting, right? I mean, I would definitely be curious to know what this new dialogue is and what it sounds like. So, you know, I'm not planning on going to this event, but I'm curious if anybody here maybe is. Moving on to the next topic, we have an announcement from Rockstar Games. Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare will both be making their way to PlayStation 4 as well as the Nintendo Switch. This is releasing on August 17th. There is no native PS5 version, so this is actually a native PlayStation 4 version of Red Dead Redemption, and you will be able to play it through backwards compatibility on PS5. It will have no multiplayer. It does, as I said, include Undead Nightmare. It will be priced at $50 US, and a disc-based version is arriving on October 13th. It's also worth noting that this port, it's not a remaster, it's not a remake, it's just a port, was actually not developed by Rockstar Games. It was developed by an outside studio called Double 11 Studios. So yeah, this is, I guess, the announcement that everybody's been waiting for, that's been rumored. To me, this is incredibly underwhelming. It seems like they did the absolute bare minimum here, and I can't confirm this, but maybe we'll get confirmation soon. I've been reading that apparently this game is going to be locked at 30 frames per second. It will have a higher resolution, but I don't think it's even going to offer 60 FPS on the PS4 version, or like if you're playing it on PS5, which is kind of crazy to me. Again, I can't confirm that yet. I've been seeing people claiming that, but you know, I guess at some point we'll find out. But yeah, no remake, no remaster. It's just a straight port. And it's $50. You know, I would have happily paid $60 or $70 for a, you know, full-blown remaster treatment, or certainly a remake treatment for a game as good as Red Dead Redemption. But seeing what they're doing here, where they're basically just, you know, unshackling it from the PS3, which is nice. I do want to say that. It is nice that it will finally be free from the PlayStation 3. And, you know, you'll be able to play it on PS4 and PS5, but in my opinion, this was just a major missed opportunity. And yeah, so that's what it is. It's crazy that this is the way they're choosing to do it, but there you go. I will definitely be curious to see what you guys have to say about this. But moving on from that, we have an update when it comes to how PlayStation is doing sales-wise in the UK, and I think this is interesting to point out because we know that Sony is putting a bunch of stuff on sale right now, including the PS5. We've actually seen some price cuts with the PS5. The reason for that, it's been speculated that Sony's going to be announcing some new PS5 hardware soon, so they're trying to like clear out the stock. And what's really interesting about it is some of these price drops we're seeing, not just with the hardware, but with the games and the accessories as well. This is stuff that you would probably only really see during Black Friday. I mean, in the UK, they are being very, very, very aggressive. They have a Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga PS5 bundle that is being sold in the UK for £400. And because of this bundle, the Skywalker Saga has shot up to #1, But on top of that, God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and even Gran Turismo 7, they've all kind of shot back up to the top 10 in the UK. And it's not just in the UK though, right? If you look across like any major retailer, Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, GameStop, in the US, the console is now $50 off, the disc-based model. So, you know, if you're somebody who's been kind of on the fence, like, should you get a PS5? This would be a great time to do so because, frankly, this is kind of unheard of. Sony doesn't really do stuff like this, especially spontaneously. Again, we normally see stuff like this reserved for Black Friday, but I don't know. Sony clearly has something that they're trying to do here and something they're trying to achieve. But even just looking at the accessories, like the DualSense controller, I think is being sold for like 40 bucks. You know, it's just a great time if you're looking for games, accessories, consoles, PlayStation 5 stuff. You know, look into it because Sony's going crazy right now. So yeah, let me know if you're planning on buying anything. Moving on to the final topic of the video, it's kind of a strange one, but still I think something important that you guys are going to want to know about. So I have an article here from WCCF Tech, and the title reads, Final Fantasy 16 fell short of high-end Square Enix sales goals, slow PS5 adoption blamed. They say here Final Fantasy 16 has been one of the more fascinating sales stories to watch in 2023 as the game launched as a PS5 exclusive, essentially positioned as a PlayStation first-party title, and many wondered if the Gambit would pan out. Initially, Square Enix tried to paint a positive picture, boasting about how quickly the game reached the 3 million units sold mark, but now they seem to be singing a different tune. This weekend, Square Enix offered a downbeat report for Q1 of their 2024 fiscal year, with operating income being down 79% compared to the same period last year, despite the release of Final Fantasy 16. Now again, FF16 was far from a flop, but it didn't sell enough to make up for numerous other weaknesses in Square Enix's business, ranging from the legit flop of Forspoken and declining revenue of Final Fantasy 16-14 and mobile titles. According to a new report from Bloomberg during a post-earnings conference call, Square Enix Takashi Kiryu said Final Fantasy 16, quote, did not meet the high end of the company's expectations, end quote. Furthermore, Kiryu at least partially pointed the finger at a limited size of the PS5 user base. Now that PS5 supply constraints have largely been alleviated, Square Enix hopes they can boost FF16 sales as more people get their hands on the machine. It's hard not to see the connection between these latest Kiryu statements and the ones he made when he took the stage with Phil Spencer and announced that Final Fantasy XIV and all future major Square Enix titles would be coming to Xbox. It seems Square Enix has soured on the possible PlayStation exclusive future they once envisioned. Now, obviously, you know, that is pure speculation on the part of whoever wrote this article for WCCF Tech, but I did want to read that because I think that there is something to take away here. First and foremost, Bloomberg, once again, I don't know why they have such an axe to grind with Sony. They put out an article on this, and they have just, again, tried to completely drag this in the mud, but it's worth pointing out that they actually got corrected here by David Gibson. He responds to Takashi Makazuki, who wrote up the Bloomberg article, saying that hope was not the right word. Sorry, the results were in the range of their expectations in regards to Final Fantasy 16 sales. Feel the penetration of PS5 performance was quite good, as they said before when announcing the 3 million number. So yeah, basically what we have here is not great news for Square, and because of that, Bloomberg is kind of running with that and making it, I don't want to say they're making it seem worse than it is, but they're being disingenuous and kind of leaving certain things out. There's a couple important things that I think we should take away from this. Number one, Square is saying that it didn't meet their high-end sales mark. Now, we don't know what that is. They came out and said it sold 3 million. Maybe their high-end was 5 million or 6 million or something in that same period, which would have been kind of crazy. But, you know, that very well could have been their high end. And then on top of that, you know, they're talking about the PS5, user base, and I guess that's fair. You know, that would maybe explain to a certain extent why it's not completely exploding. Because here's the big takeaway here. Square Enix is hurting. They are struggling. You know, their Q1 earnings are not looking good at all. And, you know, it's one of these situations where exclusivity deals with Sony might, well, I don't want to say might, but it seems clear reading between the lines here, it's just not going to be enough. I mean, when Square Enix comes out and says that they sold 3 million units on PS5 in 4 to 5 days, and you see the Q1 earnings, and this is what it's looking like for them, and you see just how down it really is, just goes to show how much pressure there really was on this single game on Final Fantasy 16 to really just carry all of Square single-handedly on a single platform, that being the PS5. In a way, it almost just kind of seems unfair, but it's worth noting that Square did say they're planning on focusing on bigger budget AAA games going forward, less like mid-sized AA, smaller AAA projects. Not sure how people feel about that, but yeah, so there you go. Just wanted to give you that update and that report. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.